Every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV News. I am Anulwak Polofela. Here are our top stories tonight. And now the news in full. The federal government is directing banks, insurance and financial institutions to suspend ongoing retrenchment in the sector. This is contained in a statement signed by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, on Friday. The minister says the decision is further predicated on the fact that the continued retrenchment and redundancy by the sector jeopardizes the outcome of the reconciliatory and mediatory processes undertaken by the ministry. Ngige, however, advises all parties in the interest of industrial peace and harmony to maintain status quo. You may recall that several banks have fired thousands of workers amid present economic crisis. This week alone, Ecobank PLC and Skybank PLC reportedly sacked about 1,000 staff each. Moving on, former President Olusegun Obasanjo earlier today had a closed-door meeting with President Buhari. The former president was driven into the forecourt of the president's office at 12:30 p.m., coming out at 1:16 p.m. after the meeting. The former president, however, did not give an inkling into the purpose of the meeting. In a later development, the Conference of Nigeria Anglican Bishops is calling on Nigerians to exercise patience with the current administration in face of the economic challenges led by the primate of all Nigeria bishops, Nicholas Oko. The clerics also discussed the activities the Niger Delta Avengers and headsmen with President Buhari. State House correspondent Abiola Oluwole has more on the story.
Disturbed by the spate of vandalization of critical infrastructure by the Niger Delta Avengers, coupled with the killings of innocent Nigerians by herdsmen, the clerics say they are in Aso Rock Villa to discuss some solutions with President Buhari.
We are all looking for solutions to issues of the herdsmen, looking for solution to the issue of vandalism, looking for solution on the issue of security in one way or the other. Because the people are asking us, and we want to have explanation for the people who will lead.
As economic challenges bite other with complaints from every part of the country, the leader of the Anglican bishop is telling Nigerians to be patient with President Buhari and his team.
So far, it's been okay because of the difficulties of the time. And between now and the next 1 year, we are looking forward to something more direct now, something that will get to the people easily, because so far for the first year it is trying to clear the table, prepare the place, make the work move forward. So Nigeria is your own creation.
Praying for the president and the nation were the climax of the visit by the Anglican bishops. From the presidential villa in Abuja, Abiola Oluwole reporting for CoreTV News.
In 2008, about 90 children died from taking counterfeited teething syrup before it was discovered. Trying to address this and many more fake products-related issue has been of worry for the Food and Drug Administration. This worry is necessitating a public hearing by the Committee on Health on the need to amendment of the laws guiding the sector so as to enact stronger punitive measures for offenders.
The one-day public hearing is to meet with various stakeholders in the sector to find an avenue to amend and enact stronger laws that will save more lives and punish peddlers of fake products, especially drugs.
Today's public hearing on a bill for an act to amend the Counterfeit and Fake Drugs and Wholesome Processed Foods Act is aimed at strengthening the punitive measures in place against perpetrators that intentionally promote the production and sale of phony medicine and products.
Giving an insight into the dangers of fake drug, the President of the Senate cited instances with some children to drive home his point.
In 2008, thousands of Nigerian children started taking a teething medicine that contained toxic chemicals. News reports stated that the syrup was counterfeit and the stranded glycerine in the mixture was replaced with cheaper dilating glycol, which looks, smells, and tastes the same as the original teething syrup called My Pikin.
Restating that the National Assembly will resolve to stamp out substandard products from the country through its legislature.
The health sector, like every other sector of the economy, has its own challenges. Some of these challenges are as a result of weak legislations. There is therefore need to enact new legislations or amend weak or already existing ones to see that the lives of the citizens of this nation, Nigeria, are protected.
Offenders will have a heavy hammer coming on them if the new laws are enacted.
The bill consists of 4 clauses and seeks to amend the Counterfeit and Fake Drugs and Unwholesome Processed Foods Miscellaneous Provisions Act, Cap C34 LFN 2004, in order to increase the penalties for offences under the Act and make provisions for forfeiture of assets from proceeds of this crime, as well as compensation to victims.
Fake and counterfeit drugs have caused devastating effects in the country. Many have died from accidents on the road due to fake tires, but most sad is the death caused by drugs that are supposed to be remedies. Jamil Afegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
In the meantime, militant group Niger Delta Avengers has carried out multiple explosions of oil installations in the early hours of today. According to a post on its Twitter handle, the group claims to have blown up the SPDC Fogados 48 inches export line at 3 o'clock a.m. and subsequently the Brasu Tebi Daba crude oil line in Bayelsa State at 3:30 a.m. This follows a series of attacks by the militant group which claims to be a genuine affront to ensure that the Niger Delta is developed in proportions that are only measurable with the immense wealth from the region and its environment remediated to its original state. And now, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has announced the upgrade of the Nigerian Army 20 Battalion in Sirte Taraba to a special unit for military regimentation and training. Buratai says the heightened security situation along the Nigeria-Cameroon border and the imperative of entrenching professionalism in the army necessitated the upgrade. While fielding questions from newsmen during his visit to the headquarters of the battalion in Gashaka local government area of the state, Buratai promises that the army headquarters would provide the required logistics and post more officers and soldiers to improve the status of the unit. Earlier at the palace of the Emir of Gashaka, Buratai solicited the support of the public to enable the army secure the area, urging the community to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities as more terrorists escape from their Sambisa enclaves. On his part, the Emir of Gashaka, Mohammed Sambo, commends the effort of the military in securing the community, assuring the army chief of more cooperation and support of the community. Moving on, a High Court in the Federal Capital Territory is briefed that former head of service of the Federation, Stephen Orashaye, received 50 million naira from the $2.1 billion arms deal. An operative of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Amadama Bello, testifying as prosecution witness in Oroshaye's trial for allegedly diverting public funds, confirms the former head of services culpability. Oroshaye is said to have converted 382.9 million naira belonging to the committee to his personal use between 2013 and 2015. Oroshaye was rearraigned on a 7-count amended charge of criminal breach of trust. The accused has so far pleaded not guilty. In the meantime, acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, has warned against the diversion of funds and other resources donated by international humanitarian organizations for internally displaced persons in Borno State and other parts of the country. Magu says that anyone caught in the ignorable act of tampering with such benevolence will be treated as a criminal, adding that the Commission will ensure that there is transparency and accountability in the use of resources meant for IDPs. The chairman handed down the warning during a visit to the reopened zonal office of the Commission in Maiduguri. The FCC boss expressed worry about the complaint of corruption in IDP camps coming from international humanitarian organizations and other civil society organizations that are helping the distressed victims of the Boko Haram insurgency in the city and beyond. Moving on, female Muslim students in all public primary and secondary schools in Osun State can now wear face veil, also known as hijab, to schools following the ruling of an Osogbo High Court. Justice Jide Falola, in a 51-page judgment delivered on Friday, holds that any act of molestation, harassment, torture and humiliation against female Muslim students using hijab constitutes a clear infringement on their fundamental rights. Falola cites Section 38 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended to rest his ruling. Ogun State Muslim community had on February 14, 2013, dragged the state government to the court, seeking an order of the court to allow female Muslim students to enjoy their fundamental rights by granting them order to use veil in public schools. And now on NBA election crisis, members of the Election Monitoring Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association Ikeja branch is vowing to go ahead with the body's election schedule to hold the 13th of June in Lagos. This follows the circular issued by the incumbent chairman of the Ikeja branch, Yinka Farumbi, dissolving the electoral committee. Members of the committee, however, insisting that the chairman has no power to do so by virtue of the unified bylaw. At an emergency meeting which later turned rowdy, members of the NBA expressed displeasure at the recent development. Akin Obakeye completes the story.
A cross-section of members of the Nigerian Bar Association Ikeja branch at its extraordinary meeting on Friday. A circular by the incumbent president of the association, Yinka Farumbi, dissolving the electoral committee a few days to election does not appear to be going down well with members.
He has the power to give an order, and the order will rule. He has given an order, let the order stay. Meanwhile, me, I'm gender sensitive. Now I'm saying that the men should rest. What a man can do, a woman can do better.
Members say they stand by the provisions of the bylaw guiding the NBA.
The constitution is very clear. The chairman has no power under the constitution to dissolve any ad hoc committee. If any vacancy occur within the period, the constitution requires those positions to be filled.
Reacting to the twists and turns, the chairman accuses journalists of lack of cooperation.
There's nowhere the law gave the chairman any executive fiat to do anything on his own without ratification from the General House.
The committee vows to proceed with the NBA Ikeja branch elections fixed for the 13th of June as stakeholders appeal to the lawyers to resolve the ongoing crisis rocking the association. Akin Obakeye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We'll go for a break now, and when we return, we'll bring you more stories within Nigeria. Please stay with us.
VAT, Value Added Tax, is a tax paid on all goods and services and remitted by the seller of the goods or provider of the service to government. 5% VAT is added to the total cost of goods and services in Nigeria, and when remitted to government, is used for funding development. The VAT you pay will be used by government to develop our transport infrastructure like roads and railway lines, to continually improve our educational sector by building more schools and upgrading existing ones, to provide adequate security and a better quality of life for us all. Pay your VAT. Make your contributions to the development of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. A quick reminder of our top stories tonight. If you're just joining us, this is CoreTV Primetime News. For more of our top stories, you can visit our social media platform. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And you can visit our YouTube platform, youtube.com/CoreTV News. Kwara State Police Command, in an effort to rid the state of cultists, has arrested and paraded 6 suspects. One of the suspects was accused of masterminding the attack on nearly 100 houses that was set ablaze during a fight between rival cult members. Our correspondent has more in this report presented from our studios.
The State Commissioner of Police, while parading the suspects, speaks of the effort of the force in apprehending the suspects.
He's a notorious cultist and he's a gang leader. Sometime in 2015, he led the gang to Agbere, Ikeja, Idiape, and other areas of Ilori, and unleashed mayhem. A lot of houses were set ablaze, and some people were killed. Since then, he went underground. But I can assure you now, gentlemen of the press, that he has met his Waterloo.
Nearly a year after the crisis, the police command arrests the ringleader with other 2 accomplices.
We were caught because of drug enforcement agencies. We had a fight with them and punched down one of their members' house.
He has been arrested and he has confessed to some of these heinous crimes. He will soon be charged to court. Other members of his gang include Olatunji Ibrahim, Lukman Oladimeji, and Hakim Olayinka. They are currently undergoing interrogation and they will be charged to court soon.
The police also apprehended a staff of Landmark University.
David Ogundere, the 36-year-old staff of Landmark University Secondary School, Umora, on the 25th of April, at about 8:00 hours, murdered his girlfriend and stabbed the mother. Some of you are aware of this story. He too went underground. But we set our machineries in motion and we have arrested this criminal.
The Commissioner of Police appeals to Kwarans to continue to provide information that could lead to the arrest of criminals in order to rid the state of troublemakers.
And now on sexual and domestic violence, Lagos State government says it will continue to clamp down on sexual assault and domestic abuse of minors in the state. The Mirabel Center, a partnership for justice in Lagos State, encouraged by increased level at which children now report domestic violence, hopes that perpetrators will desist from the act or face the full weight of the law. Victoria Solomon has more in this report.
Domestic violence in Nigeria is a problem as in many parts of Africa. It takes many forms including physical, sexual, emotional and mental. Traditionally, domestic violence is committed against females. However, cases against men and children are getting prevalent. Good enough, victims of sexual abuse are beginning to speak out more.
The minors or the children go through their parents. They tell their parents that so and so did so and so thing to me. We've also had situations where counselors, the minors have confided in counselors, that's in school. So children are actually speaking up. We're recording a minimum or maximum of maybe 20 clients in a month, but presently we're recording almost 100 clients in a month. We can say that yes, there is a lot more reporting. There's a lot more. People are talking about it more. People are coming out to report cases more.
These advocates of the Mirabel Center acknowledge the support and resolve of the state government to clamp down of the criminal acts.
There is no excuse for assaulting of a minor or an adult. There is no excuse for that, and we are very grateful for what Lagos State is doing. Lagos State is at the forefront, in handling cases of domestic and sexual violence. In Lagos State, a crime against the child is a crime against the state, so the state takes it up.
It is hoped that more victims of sexual abuse and domestic violence will seize the support available to get help before it is too late. Victoria Solomon, CoreTV News, Lagos. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has identified the commitment of governors and their spouses in addressing issues of governance in their respective states as responsible for Nigerians' ability to mount its various challenges while receiving a delegation of the Southern Governors' Wives Forum SGWF on a courtesy visit at the Lagos House, Ikeja. Ambode notes that the effort by governors to deliver good governance in their states would not be effective without a complementary role by their wives. Leader of the delegation and wife of the governor of Imo State, Nkechi Okorocha, emphasizes the importance of patriotism in the discharge of responsibilities in order to have a Nigeria of collective dream and aspiration. She says members are poised to complement the effort of the governors of the southern state through their respective pet projects and to carry out laudable initiatives in the southern region. Moving on, the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Council of Women's Societies, NCWS, on the protection of the rights of women, youths and children. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Ben Angwe, says the MOU is part of efforts aimed at ending discrimination against women by ensuring that they are educated and empowered to claim their rights. Angwe notes that the implementation of the document would enable women enjoy equal opportunities with the men in order to attain their full potential. Meanwhile, the national president of the National Council of Women's Societies, Nkechi, says the association is the most viable organ to use in passing information to women across the country, as it has representation in all the 774 local governments of the country. Moving on, 9 colleges of education for different states of the Federation have been given accreditation certificates to offer National Certificate in Education (NCE) programs in their various institutions. Some of the colleges that received their certificate include the Kogi State College of Education, Technical, Kaba, Nasarawa State College of Education, Akwanga, Enugu State College of Education, Technical, Enugu, Unwa for Orize College of Education, Unsube in Anambra State, among others. Our correspondent Basil Okafo reports.
In line with the present administration's effort to revamp the education sector, the agency empowered by law to accredit programs offered by colleges of education Friday presented accreditation certificates to some colleges of education. Officials say the National Commission for Colleges of Education, NCCE, granted approval for the offer of the programs following the performance of the institutions in the accreditation exercise conducted in November of 2015. Management of the various institutions are being reminded of the consequences that will follow if they are unable to maintain the standard that earned them the accreditation.
To have full accreditation does not mean that you have arrived. So it's not for you to go and sleep. Full accreditation simply means that you had an overall score of 70 and above. And somebody that has 70% cannot think that he has arrived.
The accredited programs in the various institutions include biology, mathematics, integrated science, computer science, physics, chemistry, physical and health education, among others.
The agency, we encourage them not to be deterred in what they are doing, maintaining standard. It is the standard that promotes quality.
Federal government has mandated teachers to obtain National Certificate in Education, NCE, as the minimum requirement for primary school teachers, giving the College of Education more importance in the education sector. Basil Okafor, CoreTV News, Abuja.
And now, as the debate on bridging the housing deficits on the African continent continue, a panel of experts have come up with a variety of solutions to address the problem. Correspondent Kazim Kasali has more on the panel's discourse in this report.
In a paper titled Providing Low-Cost Affordable Houses to the African Low-Income Earner, Professor of Architecture from the University of Lagos, Olumide Olusanya, provides a variety of options in treating the subject matter. The issue, according to him, should not be about low-cost houses, but about affordable and durable houses that will stand the test of time. The real dilemma, according to the university teacher, for all involved in the development of the housing sector is how to move from the normal concept of building houses on the continent and Nigeria to a mass housing and quality building process. This dilemma, according to the Power Works and Housing Minister, is an hurdle that can be overcome with what he describes as a Nigerian house.
We are planning to develop a Nigerian house. A house that the people of Nigeria, hopefully the majority, will say, if you build this, we will live in it.
Also speaking on the topic, a member of the affordable housing team from a leading housing solutions provider, Jumoke Adejubi, outlined a series of solutions which she says her organization is working all over the world to provide. She charges African countries and Nigeria especially to key into this to address the issue of housing deficit that needs to be addressed with the provision of 1 million units per annum.
Business, that's what really needs. And to drive that, there's actually a team set up, a central team at the group level in Zurich that is only focused on affordable housing. And in markets where we are present in affordable housing, there are local teams that drive what we do. An example is Nigeria.
The issue of mortgage financing also came for discourse, with a Malawian Siku Nkoma calling on all African governments to help in easing access to finance for people to be able to build either their own houses or acquire houses available on a mortgage owner-occupier basis. Kazim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Electricity plays a pivotal role in the development of nation's economy as it provides avenues for growth in micro, small and medium-scale businesses. It also plays a key role in security development, manufacturing as well as a whole lot of economic activities. Nigeria, the most populated black nation with about 200 million people, provides electricity for less than 350 its population. In this special report, Kikelo Mokere takes a look at alternative sources of electricity as a solution.
It's often said that a nation without electricity is a nation in poverty. This saying may have a logical approach to the issue of national development. Electricity plays a very vital role in a nation's economy as it aids manufacturing, banking, agriculture, media, communication, among others.
The service delivery is very poor, even though tariffs have been increased and people are ready to pay, but there's no service.
Recently, Nigeria was ranked 169 out of 189 nations on Global Trading Index, which largely is due to lack of access to electricity. In this light, many Nigerians have advocated for alternative source of electricity, just as in other advanced countries. The use of green, environmental, safe electricity would have a double advantage.
There are so many benefits you can get from solar using the sun to get your electricity. One, you cannot sabotage it. You can't prevent the sun from rising. And it is everywhere. And there's no day sun does not come out. Invariably, it determines that you can get power anywhere you want power.
It's good, we're already using solar. If you look at most of our high streets and our bridges and our highways have solar street lights. But then beyond that, we even have buildings that have solar roofs on them. But you see, the problem with renewable energies is that acquiring them is expensive.
The cost of procuring alternative sets like biomass, windmill and solar panel for electricity generation is far cry for ordinary Nigerians who can't purchase despite having a lot of comparative advantage.
Removing duties payable on batteries, on inverters, just like what they did in the case of solar panels. Today we don't pay duty on solar panels, zero duty. But on inverter we still pay as much as 5%. On battery, on this deep cycle battery, we still pay as much as 20% duty and 5% VAT.
Well, for me, I think we're endowed with the solar power environment. If you go to the northeast and the other part of the northern region of Nigeria, we have these gifts, natural gifts that can also propel the solar energy that we need in this country. It's quite unfortunate that we're solely dependent on one form of energy source, which is the gas.
It's now on government's call to look at a way of subsidizing this alternative in the best interest of Nigerians. Kikelomo Okeri, CoreTV News, Abuja.
All is set for the 20th edition of the Zeke Prize in Leadership Awards in honor of the first president of Nigeria, late Nnamdi Azikiwe, who ruled from 1963 to 1966. The Leadership Award, put together by the Public Policy Research and Analysis Center, is to encourage African leaders in their respective field of specialty. Akin Obakaye completes the story.
Nnamdi Azikiwe, popularly called Zeke, is one of the founding fathers of Nigeria, a leading figure of modern Nigerian nationalism, who served as the second and last Governor General of Nigeria from 1960 to 1963, and the first President of Nigeria from 1963 to 1966, holding the presidency throughout the Nigerian First Republic in commemoration of a renowned Pan-Africanist. Several organizations introduced recognition awards, including the Public Policy Research and Analysis Center, which has been organizing the Zeke Prize in Leadership Awards. Announcement of winners for the 2015 edition has been made.
The 2015 Zeke Prize in Leadership. His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Other winners include Yakubu Dogara for Pride in Public Service, Eric Umerfa in Business Leadership, John Momo in Professional Leadership, Willie Obiano, Ibikunle Amosun, and Siriaki Dixon as winners in the Prize of Good Governance. With the spate of uprising in the country, Pat Utomi further explains how it affects the role of Azikiwe, who preached a united Africa.
Ultimately, what shapes human progress? Values. Your values shape human progress. But what is responsible for the values of a society? The behavior, the conduct of their leaders.
Truly, Nnamdi Azikiwe is a name that cannot be forgotten in the history of Nigeria. Akin Obakaye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
For the first time in 5 years, United States job creation has fallen. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll bring you more stories from outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And now on the foreign scene, for the first time in 5 years, United States job creation in May fell to its lowest level, a sign of economic weakness that may limit the Federal Reserve's ability to raise interest rates soon. The Labour Department says employers added just 38,000 jobs last month, the fewest since September 2010. The jobless rate fell to 4.7% from 5%, the lowest since November 2007. It is partly due to people dropping out of the labour force and no longer being counted as unemployed. Chairperson of the Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen, hints that interest rates could rise soon if U.S. jobs growth picks up. About 340 migrants has been rescued and 4 bodies pulled from the sea after a boat capsized in the Mediterranean Sea. Others are thought to be missing from the boat, which was found in international waters 75 nautical miles and south of the Greek island of Crete. Ships, helicopters and planes are engaged in the rescue operation. In the meantime, most of the survivors were put on board a cargo vessel heading to Italy, while others were taken to Egypt, Turkey and Malta. Still on the foreign scene, flood waters in Paris are set to peak shortly, with the river Seine rising 20 feet above its normal level. More downpours are forecast for the weekend across a band of Central Europe from France to Ukraine. The number of deaths in the floods has now risen to at least 14, while thousands of people have been forced from their homes. The world-famous Louvre and Osra museums have been shut so staff can move priceless artworks to safety. Several towns in southern Germany have been devastated. Belgium, Austria, the Netherlands and Poland have also been affected. And now in Syria, where it has approved the delivery of humanitarian aid to 36 regions, including a least 11 besieged area. This comes as the UN Security Council discusses plans for aid to be airdropped to areas under the siege, following calls by the US, UK and France. A statement issued by the Syrian mission to the UN says the permission included access to Kafar, Batna, Sakba, Hamura, Jizren, Zabadin, Is Arasta, Zamalka, Madaya, Foa, Kefraya and Yamok. Meanwhile, airstrikes in and around the northern city of Aleppo have reportedly killed 13 civilians. We'll take the sport news shortly.
Power style, and that's what he delivered.
And now on sport news, when Nigeria's senior football team, the Super Eagles, have climbed 6 places up to 61st in latest FIFA rankings following victories over Mali and Luxembourg in an international friendly. Within 5 days, the 3-time African champions, handled by local coaches led by Salisu Yusuf, defeated Mali 1-0 in France and went ahead to pound Luxembourg 3-1 in front of the home fans. The Eagles' rising this month have moved them to 12th place in the continent, but still keeps them out of the top 5 teams in Africa. Super Eagles could still face a very difficult 2018 World Cup qualifying group, even as the June FIFA rankings, as they will be missing out from the seedings from the qualifying round of the 2018 World Cup. Having crashed out of AFCON 2017, Nigeria will be seeking to qualify for a 6th World Cup when the qualifying series for Russia 2018 kicks off in October. Still in sport news, where a majority of Nigerians are known to be sport lovers, but with the crisis rocking the Nigerian Football Federation, the nation's hope for the 2018 World Cup in Russia looks shaky. Although the House Committee on Sport is seeking ways to end the crisis, holding meetings with the different NFF-led factions, Nigerians are hoping for a football body that will bring excitement to fans come the 10th of June when the committee meets with the warring factions. Anita Patrick reports that stakeholders are calling for football growth, especially in the Nigeria League.
Football stakeholders and sport veterans are appealing to the different Nigerian Football Federation factions to drop their differences and concentrate on the development and growth of the game in the country. The factional crisis, they say, is not doing any good to the nation, especially in preparing for the World Cup.
Everything about life, sometimes you have crisis. Even FIFA has passed through crisis. But after crisis, there should be peace. With a couple of players that we should have confidence in our local coaches. Salisu should be able to pioneer a new Super Eagles, built around young players from domestic league.
crisis. But you see, it's affecting us because it's not making us to advance. Today, we can't even talk about the national team coach, which is very, very bad, because the federation is preoccupied with the crisis.
The managing director of the TV Enterprises and general manager NTA says Nigerians need a better platform to promote the Nigerian Professional Football League, and efforts are being put in place.
We have passionately been pursuing this the last 1 year. Details which I may not be able to give now, but we have not given up. And once we are able to overcome some of the basic will I say logistical issues, or the core issues, we will call you again and proudly tell you now that we'll be a proud sponsor of the Nigerian national team.
We have pursued it, we will continue to pursue it, because like the MD said, for me as a Nigerian, no point showing foreign content alone. The Nigerian content has to be there. The Nigerian league has to be grown. We need to make our own superstars. We need to enrich our own superstars. And we promise, as the MD has stated, it's something we're not going to let down.
Nigerians are indeed hopeful that before the major football competition resume, the crisis will not only be over, but the technical aspects such as coaching crew will also have been sorted out. Anita Patrick, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Premier League champions Leicester City have signed German international shot-stopper Robert Zieler for an undisclosed fee. Confirming the signing on their official website, the Claudio Ranieri-led team says the 27-year-old has agreed a 4-year deal that runs until 2020 at the King Power Stadium. In Zieler's words, it feels great coming to Leicester and joining the club after they have had such a great season. It's really nice to be a part of the club now. Zieler has 6 caps for Germany and was a member of the squad that won the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Although he missed out on selection for Euro 2016 after Hannover finished bottom of the Bundesliga this season, Zieler is expected to provide competition for Leicester's regular #1 Kasper Schmeichel, with manager Claudio Ranieri kept to bolster his ranks as the club embarks on a maiden Champions League campaign. Now, International Olympic Committee (IOC) on Friday in Lausanne, Switzerland, announced a 10-strong refugee team will compete at the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil later this year. President of the IOC, Thomas Bach, says the team will compete in swimming, athletics and judo event at the August 5 to August 21 Games tagged a symbol of hope. Bach says the participants were selected from 43 possible candidates, with 5 refugees from South Sudan, 2 from Syria, 2 from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and 1 from Ethiopia. Bach says the first ever refugee team would enter the opening ceremony in Maracana Stadium before host Brazil and under the Olympic flag, as they have no team, no flag and no national anthem. The IOC chief pledges that throughout the games they will be treated as any other team and subjected to doping control, even though their expenses would be paid by the IOC. With that, we've come to the end of the news, primetime news on CoreTV. I am Anu Oluwakpo Olufela. Have a wonderful night rest. Who are you talking to me? Thanks for staying with us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.